It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
10 straight for number 30, and he's trying to get the crowd more into it. Someone go get him and get him to the huddle.
Tim Roy there on the call right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. As the Warriors put a little, dare I say, throw a little water from the bay on Klay Thompson's return. 120, 117. And that was just, if you were a Warrior fan heading into that game last night, that's all you wanted. You want Klay to have some good shots, Klay to play well, but my guy Stephen Curry to play better and my team to win. I love you, Klay. You're an all-time legend. You're a Hall of Famer. You're a statue guy. You're a splash brother. But we still want to kick your ass at the end of the day. And that's what Stephen Curry did to that entire Dallas Mavericks squad towards the end of that game. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. You got me for the next hour right here on 95.7 The Game before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky of the Morning Roast. And I just want your thoughts. If you're at the game, if you watch the game, your feelings, your emotions, watching everything. Listen, there's a conversation to be had, and we're going to have it throughout the show, and I know that was Klay's day yesterday, and it was awesome. It was emotional. Everyone with their hats. It was amazing. This Warriors team, 9-2, 3-1 at home, 1-0 in the group stages of the Emirates NBA Cup. Every time they get a win, the belief gets stronger and stronger around this team. Belief in what? I'm not sure yet, but I've said it. I said it last week. This is a playoff lock of a team. No, this isn't a play-in team. This is not a play-in team. This is a top 6 seed. Dare I say top 3 seed? Dare I say top 1 seed? Golden State Warriors. Now I might be getting a little overzealous, a little out of control there, but this team is playing like the best team in the Western Conference. They're playing like one of the best teams in the NBA. And why aren't we giving them the credit they deserve nationally? Well, that's just, national, but when it's LeBron James and the Lakers are playing well and they go on a run, are the Lakers a contender? Are they a championship contender? If it's the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant, Suns, hey, they're playing well. They winning games. Are they a contender? They got Devin Booker. They got Bradley Beal. They got all the names. The Warriors right now are 9-2, and they have one of the greatest players in the history of the sport, a top 10 player of all time. And hell, judging by how this season might potentially end, could be sneaking his way into the top 5 of all time. Now, back up, take a step back. But the Warriors are the best team in the Western Conference right now. And they have the best player currently in the Western Conference right now. And yes, I'm including Luka Doncic. I'm including Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm including Kevin Durant. I'm including LeBron James. Anthony Davis. Listen, Anthony Davis has been spectacular. But I'm seeing another level of Stephen Curry right now. And yes, he was injured for a little bit. And the Warriors still won those games. Well, one of them. Like, what this team is doing right now is so damn impressive. And for them to get punched back last night in the fourth quarter on an emotional night for everyone, in a desperate team right now that's lost 3 straight in the Dallas Mavericks. They're 5-6. They don't know what they're doing. Luka Doncic, for as great as he looked in that first half, God, that final stretch of him was not pretty. Is that conditioning? I don't know. Wasn't good. And we're used to Luka in the clutch looking like an MVP caliber type of a player. But yesterday it was Stephen Curry, and it was a Curry flurry, if you will.
They rise as one at Chase Center. Curry with the ball on the far side. Gets Doncic off the screen. Goes away from the Draymond screen. Dribbles in. Floater on the rim. Crawls over the front and drop through. Timeout Dallas. Stephen Curry's got his game face on. And the Warriors lead 115 to 114. A 7-0 Curry run. And with a minute 49 to go in the game, this place is rocking.
Tim Roy on the call there. So the Warriors go on that 7-0 run. After the Mavericks had an 8-point lead with 4 minutes to go, I was like, okay, well, maybe Klay's going to, have his night in Golden State. But the chef, Mr. Curry, he said, nah.
To the 1-point lead, 43 seconds remaining. Curry to midcourt. Grimes waiting for him. Screen by Wiggins. Curry gets Doncic again. Screen by Draymond. Curry gets Lively again.
He wants a three.
Yes, he does. Backs up, shoots a deep three over Lively. It's good! It's good! The Warriors lead by 4 with 26.4 to go. And Stephen Curry beating his chest, talking to the crowd.
Night-night. And it was almost a premature night-night because the Mavericks did have a chance at the end of the game, down 3 points after was that Kyrie Irving three-pointer towards the end there? Final call. Take it away, Tim Roy.
120 to 117. Klay Thompson to Doncic. 10 seconds to go. Doncic down the left sideline. In no hurry. Spin dribble. Guarded by Wiggins. Dribbles. Shoots a contested three. It's up and no good. Rebound Melton. Ball game over. The Warriors have won.
When I heard the ball game over for a second, you know what I was thinking. You all know what I was thinking there. Sam's shaking his head.
The Yankees win.
Tim, come on. He should have done his own John Sterling. Honestly, next time we have Tim Roy on, because Guru and I had him on last week, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. I was filling him for Steiny on Friday. I should have asked him, what's your best John Sterling? Can you give me one? One of these games, the Warriors win. Ball game over. Warriors win. Duh. Come on, Tim. He'd probably be pretty good at it. John Sterling, did he officially retire, by the way? We don't know. We'll get on that. Klay Thompson. Man. No longer a Golden State Warrior. It's still weird. It was weird last night. I'm sure it was weird watching it if you were at the game. If you weren't at the game, if you were just watching it, 888-957-9570. How are you feeling about that win last night? Klay Thompson's performance, Stephen Curry's performance, this team overall right now, and I get it. Klay is the story, his return, but I just can't stop thinking about this team of being 9-2. They just look damn good. Warriors are good. They're deep. They're fun. They're exciting. And yes, having to rely on Stephen Curry occasionally is not such a bad thing still. It's when it's every single night, like we saw last year. If Steph didn't have a night, your team was probably losing. Now, you can have those occasionally, like last night where, Buddy Hield wasn't scoring at a high degree with 6 of 13 overall from the floor, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, 14 points. All right. Jonathan coming off the bench, solid, 16 points. But starters, DeAnthony Melton, 14 points. Wasn't mad at that. But Wiggins, 8 points. Trace Jackson-Davis got better as the game went on. I thought that first half was a little sluggish, but got better as the game went on. Draymond Green, though, I'm going to give him his props. It was a hell of a performance from him. You can just look at the box score if you want, but it was a typical Draymond Green game. 11 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He was all over the place. He was hounding the Dallas Mavericks players yesterday. And for Dallas, it was Luka, but again, not an efficient night for him. He had his 31 points, but 13 and 27 overall, 2 of 10 from beyond the arc. Not great. Kyrie shot well, 21 points. Not well enough, though. And Klay Thompson finished 6 of 12 from beyond the arc, 7 of 17 overall, 22 points for him, 4 boards, 3 assists. I thought Klay played well for the most part. But again, it was Stephen Curry spoiling his return. Steph, after the game, reflecting on the night.
It's my guy. It's my friend. Road dog for 13 years, so there's a lot of history. You're going to have a lot of back and forth. Some of it was competitive, some of it was fun. thankfully we were all able to focus on the game and just hoop and compete. It was an unreal night for sure, all the way around, from the emotions at the pregame of him, being acknowledged, and the crowd during two-line layups going crazy for him, the video tribute, and I'm so surprised they ran a post up for him on the first play. I blacked out on that one. I wasn't gonna let him score, and I fouled him. But it was a pretty special night all the way around. Obviously, we won. It was a great finish, but well done all the way around.
So you heard from one Splash brother. Let's hear from the other one, the one making his return. Here's Klay Thompson after the game.
I actually didn't really think much of it because I wanted to go in here with an open mind, and it was a really cool experience. I appreciate the fans very much. The Kappa's hat ended up being a great touch because I'm such a passionate boater, and I saw a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. That was a warm-hearted feeling, so it was really cool to see the fans, their gratitude towards myself, and something I will never take for granted. So it was very awesome.
Emotions running high. Steve Kerr getting a little misty-eyed. Steph obviously emotional. And it was interesting, it was reported from multiple outlets. I think Kendra Andrews might have had it first for ESPN. But she was on it saying, Steph and Klay talked before the game, and Klay was asking Steph, that you don't have to speak before the game. You don't have to do a little spiel, let's not do that. And at first I was like, I don't know. Is that, gamesmanship? Is that, Steph not, or Klay, I should say, not wanting Steph to have a moment? I don't know what that was. But it kind of made sense as the night went on. There was just so many different moments just already built into the night from the entire Warriors organization, So I get it from that sense. It would have been nice to hear Steph do a little 30-second, 1-minute spiel about Klay. But you know what? Klay was like, that's fun. We don't have to do all that. We don't. And you know what? It's still ended up being a great night anyways. So 888-957-9570. I would love to hear from Dub Nation this morning as the Warriors win 120-117 over the Dallas Mavericks and Klay Thompson's return to the Bay. Didn't see T-Pain, unfortunately, or the Lonely Island to perform on a boat. I guess we'll have to wait another time. Maybe the jersey retirement. Maybe we'll do that, right, Sam? That works? Jersey retirement. We'll bring in T-Pain. T-Pain, by the way, really good voice without the autotune. I think people sleep on that. Part of T-Pain's repertoire. Yeah, there used to be a moment in time. So I'm talking about youngins out there. T-Pain, if there was a song featuring T-Pain, certified banger. That was the early 2000s. It was him, Pitbull, and Flo Rida. Featured one of those guys. It's probably going to hit. Draymond Green, speaking of hitting, asked if he and Steph had a plan to make sure Klay, got his flowers.
No, we just wanted to win the game. It wasn't really about Klay winning. It's an in-season tournament game. We bombed last year, and we want to compete for that. So, NBA Cup, I'm sorry. So we want to compete for that. Obviously, with Klay coming back in here, we knew he'd come in competitive, as he always has been, but wasn't quite good enough today.
So I still do the same thing, Draymond. Don't worry. The in-season tournament, the IST, now we're calling it the NBA Cup. Emirates NBA Cup. You got it. You can't forget that sponsorship. I'm sure Raymond Ritter was on him for that. So we've heard from Steph. We've heard from Draymond. We heard from Klay. Let's hear from the head coach now on the festivities of the evening and leading up to it. Steve Kerr.
I was a little misty-eyed for sure. That was really cool. An amazing moment. Our crowd was great. Klay was great. You could see how much he enjoyed it, and beautiful scene. We won the first and the third quarters pretty well. Played really well. Ball was moving. Our defense was good. Second and fourth, we really struggled in both. And, they got off to that great start, took the lead, and just an incredible finish anchored by Steph and Draymond. Steph on the offensive side, Draymond on the defensive side. It's amazing to watch those guys still after all these years. And couldn't be prouder of the team for, a tough win against a great team.
888-957-9570. Takeaways from the win last night for the Golden State Warriors. If you want to get your Klay Thompson thoughts, speak now or forever hold your peace, because you know what? Klay Thompson's story was fun. It was nice. It was emotional. There's a bigger story happening right now, though, with the Golden State Warriors. And this team, with everyone that they are stacking, the belief level is rising. And no, I'm not talking we believe, because that was another cute story. That was a footnote. And yeah, it was a fun season. ended in the second round. Warriors under the Stephen Curry era, we're used to championships, being in that conversation. Well, with every win from here on out that they stack, that belief level in a potential championship run is going to grow and grow and grow, especially if you look at the landscape of the Western Conference, where teams are at right now, and things are going to change. Things will change. What we're seeing right now, Warriors, Suns, Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets, it's going to fluctuate. By the way, the Nuggets, I know everyone was kind of like piling on them early on. They've won 5 in a row. Now, is it same 5 in a row? Do they look like the same Nuggets of a couple of years ago? They don't have Aaron Gordon. But I do respect Nikola Jokic. He is still one of, if not the best player in the NBA. And I know I'm sounding like I contradicted myself because I just said Stephen Curry is. Stephen Curry. And we do this. We do this with Kevin Durant. We do this with LeBron James. I'm always going to give them the benefit of being in that best player in the NBA conversation because they've earned that throughout their career. And I don't know if you've been watching LeBron, KD, and Steph, the 3 guys that led Team USA to gold over the summer. Sorry, Jason Tatum. Yeah, they're looking like MVP guys. That's how good they've been playing. And you can see it with the Warriors and the Suns right now, both 9-2. Lakers, what are they? 6-5? 6-4. And they've won 2 in a row. And LeBron has multiple triple doubles already, and he's almost 40 years old, which is insane. I think he's gonna be 40 next month. It's just ridiculous. But again, I'm gonna give those guys always the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their greatness because they've earned that. And until I see them fall off a cliff talent-wise, how could you not? And Stephen Curry is playing like Stephen Curry. And the Warriors are 9-2. 7-1 in the conference. And that's the one for me right now. Yeah, you lost to the Clippers. You lost to the Cavs. The Cavs one was like, sweep that under the rug. That was just burn the tape, whatever. Throw the ring into Mount Doom. Yeah. All right. It's over. But 9-2 overall. And they've beaten teams that we think are going to be legit. And that was the problem last year, right? Whenever they played these quote-unquote contenders, you weren't winning them. You've only lost to one legit contender. And we'll see how legit they are come playoff time, and they're playing really well right now. Kenny Atkinson has them rolling. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They haven't lost. They're 12-0. They're very good. Spadoni, how can you not call them contenders? They're undefeated. Well, I got to see it with Donovan Mitchell. I got to see it with, Jared Allen, Mobley, all those guys. I got to see it. The Max Struses of the world. It's a great name. I just wanted to say Max Strus. But I do know this when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, and it comes to the Phoenix Suns, and it comes to some of these other teams in the West. They have players on their teams that have been the alpha and that have been there and done that. Again, the Western Conference is so much more stacked than the East. It's not even close. Your third best team in the East right now is 500. The Orlando Magic, and they lost their best player potentially for the season, Paolo Banchero, who has, a torn pec? Brutal. Celtics, they're 9-3, and they're doing what they do. By the way, see last night, as we go around the association, Eric Spoelstra and the Heat. I'm not even going to say the Heat. I'm just going to go Eric Spoelstra, not knowing he didn't have any timeouts left, calling a timeout after the Detroit Pistons tie it with 1 second left in overtime. That's a technical foul, and that's one free throw. And that was the game. With 1 second left, Eric Spoelstra cost his team at a chance in double overtime. They didn't even get to that because the Piston player sunk the basket. Night, see you later. The Detroit Pistons would be in the play-in tournament. The season ended today. Again, 12 games in. It's silly to do this, but good for Detroit. They've been an absolute laughingstock for a few years. They've actually seen some talent play well for them as of late. Hey, I'm a Cade Cunningham believer, and I did not scoff at that contract when people are like, what has Cade Cunningham ever done? Well, they need someone to believe in Detroit. So yeah, if they're going to give the max to someone, I'd give it to that guy with all the potential in the world. And he actually played well yesterday. 21 points for him, 9 assists, 7 board, couple of blocks for one Cade Cunningham. All right, enough Detroit Pistons talk. That was like 30 seconds too much. We had Bob Myers on the show yesterday on Steiny and Guru as they were live from Thrive City. And shout out to Steiny and Guru. Shout out to Willer and Dibbs, both from Thrive City. Shout out to Bonte and Shasky. I thought 95.7 The Game crushed it as a station yesterday. I like to give the producers their flowers, the content creators their flowers. Whitley, Steven, Evan, Warriors Wrap Up, Warriors Live. Everyone doing a hell of a job to honor one Klay Thompson on Klay Day, his return to the Bay, a legend. And I thought he felt the love. I thought the fans felt the love. Love was all over the place yesterday. And Bob Myers stopped by, former president of basketball operations for the Golden State Warriors, and kind of talked about that love and what made Klay a fan favorite here.
Authenticity, I think, just kind of the person. I think we all love people, no matter, you just like someone who's real. And I think he is and was very unassuming. Work ethic, he was very quiet in his game, like low, not a demonstrative guy, appreciated throughout the league. He got some huge defensive assignments in those playoff years, guarding Harden in some really tough series, guarding Kyrie. And his man-to-man defense was just high level. And then to still be able to shoot, for anybody that's played, you look at players in the playoffs, a lot of times players do defend at a lot higher level in the playoffs. So your shooting sometimes goes. If you guys remember that Rockets game where they missed 25 threes in a row, that would never happen if they weren't having to work so hard on defense. And so Klay was able to defend the other team's best perimeter player and score.
It's a good point. It's the type of game he played. It's the person he was. It was the introvert he was. But at time, he was an introvert. But again, the Captain Klay thing, like, that's growth for him as a person, becoming more and more extroverted and showing his personality more and more and more as his career in Golden State went on. And he's such a perfect embodiment, I feel, of California. I know he's an LA guy, and I know LA versus NorCal are different, but we're also kind of similar, just Californians in general. And I'm not trying to paint us all with a broad brush because Lord knows after this election season, everyone's got different feelings, even in the state of California. But Klay's vibe, it's just such a Cali vibe. Chill, relaxed, hey, no sweat. You think of the meme where he fouled out with like not contributing anything. He played like 38 minutes. And it always gets me every time. It's like that kid in school that didn't contribute to the group project but got an A anyways. That was Klay in that one meme. And that's how I choose to remember Klay Thompson in Golden State. He didn't care until the end. But you know what? I'm not letting those last 2 years, kind of warp my viewing of him overall because the good outweighs the bad there. And yeah, Bob Myers put it great. Fan favorite because it's just authentic. Shout out NBC. More from Klay, Captain Klay, about another close loss last night. That's 2 in a row for the Mavericks.
I know, we've had like 4 games this year where it could have gone either way. Tonight, this one really stung, being up 7, under 4 minutes left. We'll watch the film and get better. But I am really proud of how this team keeps fighting. We're still getting to know each other, and I keep telling the guys it's better to go through this stuff early in the season versus game 60. So I know we have a chance to be great, and we just got to stay the course.
And the Mavericks will be there towards the end. I'm confident in that. They got too much talent. Luka Doncic and the Comcast Business text line 650 wants me to give Wiggins his flowers. I'll give Wiggins his flowers. Offensively, he was not great, but yeah, the assignment of guarding Luka Doncic, not easy. And I did think he did well, especially toward late in that game when he saw Luka he looked a little gassed. And Bob kind of alluded to it there. Klay's defense at times, maybe his offensive game wasn't going, but you could always rely on that defense. But when he had both going at the same time for a lot of his career, that speaks to conditioning. That speaks to his high IQ. That speaks to so much about the player himself. And now yesterday, it wasn't Andrew Wiggins' game offensively, but just being able to lock in on one side of the ball always. And defense, I feel like for the most part, is an effort thing first and foremost. Got to have the effort. And yes, there is a physical limitation for that as well. But if you have the effort, you can at least be, even at best, average, I feel like, or slightly below that if you just give a damn. And Andrew Wiggins coming over here, I think learned a lot from Klay Thompson. I do. And I know Klay was hurt and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, but I do think them getting to know each other, them getting involved, what Klay was able to do within this organization and what guys like Ron Adams were able to teach him. Steve Kerr were able to teach him on the defensive level because he was not this player defensively when he was in Minnesota. And having the assignments of a Kawhi or a Luka Doncic or a LeBron James at times, right? All different body types, all different sizes, strength, agility, athleticism, and being able to switch on to guys like that. This is what you wanted to see from Andrew Wiggins. And that's why a lot of people thought he was going to be the heir apparent when Klay Thompson, if and when he eventually moved on after both of those horrific injuries that he sustained, obviously, in Golden State. And he's not the scorer, obviously, of a Klay Thompson. He's just not. And he's never going to replace him. And maybe that's too strong of a word. But at least defensively, you're seeing it night in and night out. And it's very refreshing to see from one Andrew Wiggins this season compared to last season and hell, the season before that, where it just was just a mixed bag. One step forward, two steps back. It was like you're doing the cha-cha dance with Andrew Wiggins. But offensively, I'd still would like to see a little bit more consistently. But again, that's okay. As long as we're not relying on Stephen Curry every single game, he can pick up the team, once every few. All right, we're up against it. That's one segment down, two more to go. Klay Day in the Bay officially over. We're turning the page. 888-957-9570. Speak now, forever hold your peace. The Klay Thompson era. Your feelings last night, if you're at the game, if you weren't at the game, you're watching at home, just feelings abound. And Stephen Curry, he's just this guy. I don't think we give him his flowers enough, to be honest. We don't. And I'm going to keep giving it to him because you know what? This team right now is 9-2 with a 3-1 at home. And I'm starting to believe in them. I'm starting to feel like Joe Shasky and Bonte Hill were doing this last year. What was this, in March?
It's worth saying out loud, Shasky and I, that we both believe this team can make a deep run in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It ain't nothing you can do about it.
We'll see. I'll just say that. We'll see on 95.7 The Game.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpicked them.
95-7 the game.
Dope Nation, let's salute Captain Klay!
Frank, we're in an industry with voices all the time, and I hate the sound of my own voice. I think most people do. But Franco Finn, that guy started yelling to a microphone. He's like, no, I love this. Sounds great. And it was just, again, great spectacle on display last night. Warriors get the win, 121-17. And I do think that is a story here. I don't want it to get swept under the rug here. And it was Klay's night. It's also Stephen Curry's night. And he kind of snatched that away at the end there. And that could not have ended more perfectly for a Golden State Warriors fan. Klay made some big shots. They got a little lead late. Klay played well overall. Looked like he was embracing the crowd. He was embracing the fans. He had a smile on his face. You know, as soon as he walked into the building with the team, you had all the Warriors employees wearing their hats, giving him the salute. They're clapping. It was just really cool to see. I mean, people that Klay knew from going to that venue, going to that facility, whether it was there, whether it was at Oracle, all those different employees throughout the years, watching him grow up, right? From a young man into a grizzled vet. That had to have been emotional at some point, right? So, again, just as everyone tipped their cap to Klay Thompson last night, I'm going to tip my cap to the Warriors organization for doing a hell of a job. And we were talking yesterday how the Giants are kind of the standard of, you know, bringing back their legends, their vets, and, you know, doing all the pomp and circumstance, all that sort of stuff. And, well, the Warriors quietly been pretty damn good at it. Since the debacle of the come on people, Rick Perry situation with Joe Lacob, Chris Mullen, and co.
This is crazy.
You know, Rick was really good last week, by the way, on the River Islands guest line. 888-957-9570 is the number. Good morning to all you just getting off work, getting ready for school. It is a hump day, so happy hump day.
Happy hump day, people. Happy hump day.
And if you're just getting off work, getting ready for school, you know, just drive safe out there. It is still dark. Fall is in the air. It's getting a little even chillier. Kind of, you can feel like winter is coming. Shout out Game of Thrones. Got to see my breath last night when I was just walking around outside. It was nice though. This is my kind of weather, sweatshirt weather. Yeah. Tis the season. I can feel, you know, people like to do the Mariah Carey. No. It's Frank Sinatra Christmas season approaching shortly. But I don't sleep on Thanksgiving. All right? I don't. Thanksgiving is up there for Christmas. It's like 1A, 1B because you got football all day. But now we get football all day on Christmas too, on top of the NBA. And yes, I can't wait for that NBA matchup because the Warriors will be on prime time on Christmas Day. And it's LeBron James coming to Chase Center. It's Anthony Davis. It's Austin Reeves. It's D'Angelo Russell. It's JJ Redick. So I cannot wait for that Christmas Day matchup. And we might have a Lakers-Warriors matchup prior to that if both the teams, the defending NBA Cup champions, last season was called the in-season tournament, but the defending champs, if they, you know, win their NBA Cup games, there's a chance that the Warriors and Lakers meet up even before Christmas. But that is incumbent on both those teams continuing to win. Warriors won their first game of the group play in the NBA Cup yesterday over the Dallas Mavericks, 120-117. So yeah, a little extra juice last night in that game. And I don't know how much, you know, the players are getting up for that, or it's just a game you want to win, right? And here's Draymond again talking about once the game starts, it's just a game.
I've seen them battle a lot in practice, so it wasn't that odd. You know, once you get in the game, it's just about the game. You know, we weren't out there like, oh, man, Klay's in a different jersey. It is what it is. You know, we had great years here. He's over there trying to do something special. We're here trying to do something special. So once you get it between those lines, all that extra stuff go out the window.
And Steve Kerr talked if Steph had a little extra pep in his step, a little more jolt going up against Klay Thompson and defending him.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and he was matched up against him defensively. You know, we did our pregame scout and we went through the matchups, and it's almost surreal saying, all right, Steph, you got Klay. I mean, and Steph smiled as soon as he saw the matchups. I looked over at him and he smiled, kind of shook his head like, this is weird, you know. So it was a strange night in that regard, but ultimately, you know, it was a great night. You know, Klay hit some big shots and, 22 points and made his mark on the game. And obviously we were thrilled to come away with the win, and then to see the emotion in the crowd and the love for Klay was fantastic.
A lot of love. 888-957-9570. Not the city of brotherly love. That is Philadelphia. Although I went to a concert once and one of the people thought like San Francisco, the city of brotherly love. I was like, what are you talking about? It's the city by the bay. Come on. What are we doing? Oreo Cookie really wants me to say this because he spammed the Comcast Biz text line a bunch. And I'm going to let you guys know, in Oreo, you get a pass. You guys are spamming the Comcast Biz text line. You guys get blocked. All right? We don't like the spam. All right? I do like spam and eggs and some rice. Shout out the Island Lifestyle. Maybe some sausage in there too. But we don't like the spammers when it comes to the Comcast Biz text line. But he wants me to say this. Don't forget, quote, it ain't a hit unless Nate Dogg spits. Oreo Cookie. And yes, you're right. I was doing all my featured artists earlier. Said T-Pain. If it featured T-Pain, it was probably a banger. And Nate Dogg, absolutely. That goes without. I mean, we're talking about Hall of Fame of featured artists. It's Nate Dogg. Not even close. R.I.P., by the way. God. I'm talking about Franco Finn. Voices. Nate Dogg. I mean, that might be the most iconic featured voice in all of rap. All of music. Really. God, I miss Nate Dogg. Just every time you hear his voice, it's just so chill. Feel relaxed. Feel at ease. You know what? The rest of the day I'm playing Morning Roast, I just have all Nate Dogg features and Nate Dogg songs. Why not? That's Oreo Cookie. 510. Now that Melton is back and playing well, no minutes for Waters III, Lindy. Melton's playing well. But again, this speaks to the depth. Maybe Melton goes out for a little bit, and you'll need Lindy Waters. This is going to be a puzzle, Tetris, Rubik's Cube, mixing and matching. There's no lineups that are set in stone always when it comes to this Golden State Warriors team and it comes to Steve Kerr rotations. It's going to be on a game-by-game basis. And you know what? I kind of prefer that. I do. Not only does it keep the players fresh and motivated, but it's just good practice. It just is. And it's just, whenever you have a set lineup every single time, unless you have, the Boston Celtics or, hell, they don't even have it right now, but the Denver Nuggets the last few seasons, it's very, very few and far between where you're going to have the same lineup in today's NBA every single time. Now, health is a part of that because we're seeing a lot of injuries as well, but just the style of play on a given night changes from team to team. And I have no problem with some guys getting DNPs one night and playing 20 minutes the next night because you know what? That's called buy-in from your team. And they don't care because they understand that on any given night, their number might be called. They may need to play crucial minutes down a stretch in the third quarter or the fourth quarter. Look at a guy like Kevon Looney, multi-time champion, a veteran, a guy that's respected all around the league. He gets DNPs this season. You think he's crying about it? No. Does he want to play more? Sure. But that's buy-in from top to bottom from this organization, from the players, from the coaching staff, from the front office, everyone. It's really been refreshing to see. Again, the Warriors are 9-2. How could you not feel great about this team? Like, I'm comparing what the Warriors are doing right now with the 49ers. And God, I cannot believe I'm saying this right now on November 13th, but I feel a hell of a lot better about the Golden State Warriors' chances this season than I do about the San Francisco 49ers. And I did not think that was a possibility at all before the season. So we'll pick up that on the other side as well, as the Niners are looking to get 2 games over 500 as they are taking on the Seattle Seahawks at Levi Stadium this Sunday. 888-957-9570. Putting a bow on the Klay Thompson Klay Day conversation here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Golden State Racing in Pleasanton. Watch and wager every Friday through Sunday through December 15th.
Spadoni on 95.7 The Game.
Segments down, one more to go here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, as Jonathan Kuminga alluded to right there. JK last night in the Warriors 120-117 win over the Dallas Mavericks. Off the bench, 28 minutes, 6 of 11 from the floor, 16 points, 5 boards, an assist, and a steal for Jonathan. 2 offensive rebounds, by the way. Trace Jackson-Davis leading the team with, check that, I was going to say leading the starters with 5 offensive rebounds. Kevon Looney, Loon Dog, 9 offensive boards. He had more offensive rebounds by himself than the entirety of the Dallas Mavericks team yesterday. Kevon Looney with 9 offensive rebounds. That's unreal. God, I love Loon Dog. Again, he just had a DNP not too long ago. And was he scoffing at it in Oklahoma City? No, because he gets it. It's not his matchup. But again, against a team like the Lakers, maybe, and against the Mavericks, he's going to be called upon because a guy like Anthony Davis is going to be tough to guard. Got to make him work for it. You got to have someone in there. So it's just buy-in from top to bottom with this team. That is just so damn refreshing to see. Andrew Wiggins. And here is, again, not the greatest shooting night. 3 of 8 overall for him. 8 points. 4 assists, though, which I will say, I will not scoff at that stat because him realizing his shot's not there, but becoming a distributor instead, that's, again, growth. You can still grow if you're, 10, 15 plus years in the league as a player. Just ask the opposing head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd, becoming a 3-point shooter later in his career. It's never too late to pick up things during your career, and that's just life in general. And getting better at distributing the ball, becoming a willing passer would be a massive development for Andrew Wiggins in his game. And here is the head coach talking about the job that Andrew Wiggins did defensively guarding one Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Wiggs was great. I just think there has to be an accumulative effect on Luka. You can't stop him. He gets to so many shots, so you just have to try to make it difficult. He played 41 minutes. Wiggs was draped all over him. And I thought, maybe that affected the 3-point shooting a little bit. He was 2 for 10. So he's such a phenomenal player, but you just make it difficult, and I thought that's what Wiggs did.
And absolutely. And Bonte and Shasky, they're coming up here in about 9 minutes. We were talking just during the break there that, God, Luka just looked so winded, but you got to credit Wiggins, but that's also just the conditioning factor of Luka. He's a guy that has to play himself into shape, which I think is just one of the most laughable statements. That just these guys are getting paid just a bajillions of dollars to show up out of shape. It's fine. Don't worry. By December or Christmas time, I'll be good. What are you doing in the summertime? Wasn't Slovenia trying to qualify for the Olympics? You just took some months off? Yeah, I get it. You're supposed to relax a little bit, but come on, man. You can't invest in a Bowflex, Luka? I'm asking you just once a day, just for an hour or two. Just stay conditioned. No? All right. I guess we'll play ourselves into shape. In fairness, Draymond Green used to do that too. But he had the luxury of guys like Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry around him. Luka, I know he's got Kyrie, he's got Klay, but kind of seen it early on in the season. 5-6, 1-3 on the road. He's needing to get in shape a lot faster this time around. I'll tell you that. But yesterday, upper hand went to Andrew Wiggins late in that matchup as Luka Doncic did struggle from beyond the arc, 2 of 10, as Steve Kerr alluded to. Make things hard for the Stars. That's all you can ask for. Total team effort yesterday. And that's just, again, the theme of the Warriors season, a total team effort. Strength in numbers. And we always used to make fun of that, like after the first go-around, the first championship, it just turned into the death lineup, and it turned into Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, it turned into just names and star power galore. But it's not like, Lindy Waters is a household name. Although the meme is hilarious. Buddy Hield is. But Buddy Hield is kind of a journeyman at this point in his career. Gary Payton II. Who? Oh, yeah, Gary Payton's son. Oh, yeah, he had that championship run. Yeah. Moses Moody? Oh, yeah, he was on Arkansas a couple of years. Like, yeah, these guys have been around in the league, but it's not like every single player still is out. You know Draymond, you know Andrew Wiggins, you know Steph Curry. Anthony Melton. I don't even know if Warriors fans knew who he was, a lot of them heading into this season. And now you're seeing every single one of these players on any given night show out. And it was DeAnthony Melton last night. Again, 6 of 12 from the floor, 14 points for him, 4 assists. I loved what I saw from one DeAnthony Melton and what specifically we're going to be getting defensively from him. And if Wiggins is playing this well defensively, and we know we're going to get from Draymond, he's playing like a DPOI. I mean, Steph is trying to lock up Klay Thompson, for God's sakes. And I love you, Steph. It's not really his game, but hey, he affected some shots early on there. Absolutely he did. And TJD's only going to get better. Hell, I saw the guy block Wemby and Giannis last year. It was a block party at times for the young rook. So, the vibes. Again, we go back to that word, the vibes with this team. I cannot believe that I feel better about the Golden State Warriors than I do about the San Francisco 49ers' chances this year. And maybe that's, fool's gold, but I don't think it is. I don't. And I like what I'm seeing from Pearsall. The emergence of him for the 49ers is nice. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Brock Purdy and the development in the fourth quarter of last game and that win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like what I saw there. But the vibes are just still, there's something off. I mean, Tabor Pepper, Deebo Samuel going at it on the sidelines. And I think Steve Kerr was actually asked about that the other game. And he was just like, yeah, people do that. It's fine. Yeah. But it's something right now with the Golden State Warriors that was evident in the last couple seasons that wasn't there. There's no toxicity, no toxic presence, no I attitude. And this isn't some subtle dig at Klay Thompson because I thought it was more than Klay Thompson. There was a culmination of a lot of things. I thought even Chris Paul being a Warrior last year was just weird for a multitude of reasons. There was just disconnect with this Warriors organization the last few seasons. And some of that was player driven. Some of that was just, they weren't that good. And that bleeds in. When you're just not good, that trickles down. And when you're relying on Stephen Curry every single freaking night to be special, yeah, he's not going to look like Steph towards the latter part of the year. I mean, there were games last year where Steph didn't even make a three. That sounded unheard of just a couple years ago. And it happened multiple times last year where he didn't even make a 3-point shot. This season, he's just looking like a whole new person. Again, because of the depth, because he's not asked to be a superhero every single night for this team. It's okay if occasionally. Again, you see that with LeBron and the Lakers. You see that with Kevin Durant and the Suns. Some nights it's going to have to be Devin Booker. Sometimes it's going to have to be a Bradley Beal. Sometimes it's going to have to be an Anthony Davis or a D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. And some nights it's going to have to be Andrew Wiggins. It's going to have to be Kuminga, Melton, Pajemski, who I know he's getting kind of crushed online right now. Made a shot there towards the end, but was not his best night. Defensively, offensively, was his best performance. But you know what? I've seen more good than bad from Brandon Pajemski, so I'm not going to crush the kid after one game. I'm not going to do that. 888-957-9570. How good does it feel to be a Warriors fan right now? Like, are you buying what I'm buying with this team? And they're a top 3 seed in the West. They sure look like it. And I'm just looking around the surroundings. We'll see with the Thunder, who lost Chet. They still got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's incredible, who's an MVP caliber player. They got depth too. They made some moves too. They're going to be getting Hartenstein back. We'll see how much of a difference he makes. Obviously, he was a baller on the Knicks at times last year. Alex Caruso, they made the shrewd move to get rid of Giddey for him. I think Caruso, more so come playoff time, as just a one-on-one defender, a guy that can knock down a 3-point shot, is going to pay dividends there. But, the Rockets, they're the 5th seed right now. They're 7-4. We'll see there. The Grizzlies, all right, they won 3 in a row. They're taking on the Lakers tonight. NBA Cup action. The Emirates NBA Cup. Timberwolves are figuring things out. They've lost a couple in a row, but again, Anthony Edwards, like the cream always rises towards the end of the year. And I just think that the Warriors are going to belong in these conversations as the season goes on, if it's not more so, as they keep stacking these wins. Let's look at their schedule coming up for the Golden State Warriors. You got the Grizzlies on Friday at home, NBA Cup, group stage. Sorry, did I misspeak? I think I did. Lakers, Grizzlies is not NBA Cup. Lakers schedule. No, it's not. I was mistaken. Grizzlies are in the Warriors group. Warriors sneaky tough group, by the way, in the NBA Cup. I think they got the Nuggets in there too. It's not so getting that win yesterday, and I know it's the NBA Cup, but hey, you like to root for these days when they're broadcasting these games and they're going to be in Vegas or whatever. You want your team to be in there. It's just fun to root for it. Something extra, and it's another feather in the cap of Stephen Curry if he ends up winning the whole damn thing. Why not? So you got the Grizzlies and NBA Cup action on Friday. Then you got the Clippers Monday. Got Hawks, Pelicans, Spurs, Nets. Not exactly world beaters, any of those teams. I'm just saying, get greedy, get fat and happy. Why not? The more wins this team gets stacking, the belief is going to grow and grow and grow. It's already growing within me. Bonte and Shasky, how they feeling? I think they're pretty stoked. They're up next. Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station.